Hello, welcome back to Mountaineer News 2, the only channel for advice. Just recently, I realized that I have not made a jersey video since that Penguins jersey video 2 years ago. And I figured, you know what? We gotta do another jersey video. And because today is the Hall of Fame game, I figured that there was not a better time to then do a jersey review of all my West Virginia jerseys. I know I'm making college football jersey video on a day where the NFL is playing, but we're not gonna talk about that. Anywho, I hope I do well on this because this is take 3. The first 2 attempts I kept stuttering my lines, but who cares? Before we begin, I want to set a quick clarification. I do own 2 more jerseys, but however they are kids jerseys and not adult jerseys. I'm not going to be ranking or talking about the kids jerseys because, well, I can't wear them anymore. So I'm only going to be focusing on the adult jerseys. Okay? Good. Let's start off with the first West Virginia jersey I got and one of the most dear jerseys in my heart. This jersey I got in 2019 once I really started to get into West Virginia football. That was also when Neil Clown became head coach, but we're not going to talk about that. We're focusing on the jersey. Now this jersey is a pass down from a family from my mother's side. I'm not going to go too much into detail because it's too personal, but I've always had a very soft spot for this jersey. It's ranked number 2 on my jersey list, and it's not hard to see why, because this is very much classic at this point. I did notice that a lot of 2000s jerseys and style is really starting to come back in the college football world, with West Virginia recently updating their uniforms to match that, and it's not hard to see why, because it's simple and really good. So this jersey was made by Sport EX. I know I pronounced that wrong, but who cares? You got that West Virginia logo right here, the flying WV. You have your iconic yellow stripes going right down here, including on the sleeves and right here. And you have the West Virginia logo also on the sleeves. And this jersey, made in the USA, and it's polyester like all jerseys, because of course it is. And I really love this jersey. It's very dear to my heart, and I do have a story about it, but we're going to get to it in just a bit. Now let's go over to my favorite jersey, and the jersey that I wear the majority of the time for West Virginia games. It's this one. I often jokingly call it the Mountaineer News 2 jersey because it has, well, 2 elements of the channel's name, minus the news part, because, well, there's no one on West Virginia's football team named News. Although it would be pretty cool, like, have a guy wearing the number 2 and his last name is News, and he was wearing this jersey, he would be basically advertising my channel. But I could dream, right? Moving on. So this jersey is very similar to the first one that I shown, but the only difference is that it has a little bit more detail on it. You still got the same yellow striping here, and you don't really have a stripe right here on the sleeve, but you still have the West Virginia logo. But the difference, and the main difference, is that they have this sort of color pattern. This right here is stitched, right where the neck area is, and this right here is screen printed. I've always really liked that, and I think it's a great addition to the jersey, and plus it gives it more color and life. The jersey, it's a Nike jersey, and here it's made in Korea. I don't know which Korea because they never specified which area. It was either made in South Korea or North Korea, but I like to think it's made in South Korea. And then right here, you have the word Mountaineers, with a copyright little thing right there. And then you have the giant number 2, just like on the first one. I really love this jersey. I've worn it for basically the majority of the games last year, and it's not hard to see why, because it's really good, and it's pretty similar to the first one. Now, the story on how I got this jersey is actually very interesting, and also a bit weird. You see, in 2022, shortly after Easter, I lost this jersey, and I was very heartbroken over the fact. I searched everywhere and everywhere to get that jersey, and I just could never find it. And it really bothered me for a while because this is a special family jersey and I lost it. And I have a history of losing things. A long history. But we're not going to talk about that. Anywho, this was before I was scheduled to go to the West Virginia versus Virginia Tech game in Blacksburg, and I did not have a West Virginia jersey. So, I was scrolling through eBay and I found this jersey, and essentially I had to take a loan out from my brother for me to essentially get this jersey. And so, because of me losing that jersey, I was able to get this jersey. Oh, and a little funny story on how it ended. This jersey was in my closet the whole time, and I just missed it for a full year. Yeah, that just tells you how bad I am at finding things. Also, before we go forward, yes, I did pay my brother back after taking that loan out. Now we're going to move on to the other 2 jerseys. These 2 don't really have any other real weird connections or anything. I mostly just have them as a bit of a collection. First, we have the gray Geno Smith jersey. I got this for Christmas in 2023. And, you know, the gray jerseys I've always felt have been underrated at West Virginia. And I really do like the gray jerseys. Some people don't really like them because it doesn't really match West Virginia's aesthetic or anything, but personally, I think the gray jerseys really rock. Now, you do have the nice screen-printed number 12 on there. Now, all the jerseys are screen-printed. They're not stitched. Then you have the West Virginia logo right here. Just like the first jersey I shown, it is stitched on, and it's the Flying WV. This jersey, made by Nike. It has the same stripes as the first one, but this time they're blue, but it still has the yellow Flying WV. And this jersey, if I could just reach over here, it's Nike, and it was made in Vietnam. So we had a jersey made in the US, Korea, and Vietnam. So, take that if you want to. And lastly, this is the most recent jersey I got, and this is the current jersey West Virginia is wearing. You see, in 2024, West Virginia decided to go for a new makeover, ditching the jerseys that they've been wearing since 2013 for something that resembles the old jerseys of the 2000s. And, well, it's not really far from the truth. Now, there are some key differences, like for instance, the word Mountaineers is much bigger than it was on the other 2, or on my favorite jersey. It's a Nike jersey, as you can see here. It does have this stitched, but instead of the Flying WV, it has the entire state of West Virginia, which I think is a great detail. Inside, it was made in Guatemala. So 4 countries for 4 jerseys. What a value. It's all pure yellow for the top area right here, which is a bit different from the 2000s jerseys, but I can see it why. It has the old stripes on the top, but not on the sides or anything around those lines. It just has it on the top like you would see on here as the same top thing. You have number 24 right here, screen printed, and yeah. And that is the jersey review. I know this is a bit of a shorter video and probably not my better video, but I figured that I would show off a bit of my collection that I have, and just as a little note of excitement that the football season is finally here and we can finally end the most boring off season in both college football and the NFL. I'm Mountaineer News 2, and I guess this is goodbye. Bye.